Before we delve into the haunting whispers of the forest, let's step back to where it all began. Imagine a small, secluded village nestled at the edge of the forest. This village, shrouded in legend and mystery, has always lived under the shadow of the woods. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the forest, sharing tales of strange occurrences and unexplainable phenomena that had plagued their community for generations. The village itself seemed frozen in time, with cobblestone streets and ancient cottages that bore the marks of centuries past. The air was thick with an unspoken tension, a collective fear that permeated every corner of the village. The forest, with its dense canopy and hidden secrets, was both a source of life and a harbinger of doom. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the village, an ominous fog began to roll in from the forest. The fog was unlike any the villagers had seen before, thick and impenetrable, swallowing everything in its path. It crept through the streets, enveloping the cottages and shrouding the village in an eerie silence. The villagers, sensing that something was amiss, gathered in the town square, their faces etched with worry. The village elder, a wise and weathered soul, stepped forward to address the crowd. His voice, though steady, carried a weight of foreboding as he recounted the ancient legends of the forest. He spoke of the forest spirits, ancient entities that were said to guard the secrets of the woods. These spirits, he warned, were not to be trifled with. They were vengeful and capricious, and those who dared to venture into their domain often never returned. The fog, he explained, was a sign that the spirits were restless and that something had disturbed the delicate balance between the village and the forest. As the elder's words hung heavy in the air, a sudden gust of wind swept through the square, carrying with it the faintest whisper of voices. The villagers exchanged uneasy glances, their fear palpable. It was clear that the forest was awakening and that the whispers were only the beginning of something far more sinister. And so, with the fog thickening and the whispers growing louder, the villagers retreated to their homes, casting wary glances towards the forest. Little did they know that night would mark the beginning of a series of events that would forever change their lives and reveal the true nature of the forest's haunting whispers. Now, we return to our journey into the heart of the forest, where the whispers grow stronger and the shadows deepen. As we venture further, the true extent of the forest's mysteries begins to unfold. As we venture deeper into the story, let's uncover the forgotten legends that have shaped the village's relationship with the forest. These legends, passed down through generations, are more than mere tales. They are warnings etched into the very fabric of the village's history. Long ago, before the village was established, the area was said to be the realm of ancient forest spirits. These spirits, ethereal and powerful, were the guardians of the forest's secrets. They were said to dwell in the deepest parts of the woods, unseen by human eyes but always watching. The villagers believed that these spirits could control the elements, summon storms, and even bend time itself. Their presence was both revered and feared, and the villagers took great care to respect the boundaries of their domain. One of the most chilling legends tells of a traveller who ventured into the forest, seeking the spirit's wisdom. The traveller, driven by desperation and a desire for knowledge, ignored the warnings of the villagers and entered the forest alone. For days, he wandered through the dense woods, guided by whispers and fleeting shadows. The forest seemed to twist and change around him, leading him deeper into its heart. On the seventh night, as the moon hung high in the sky, the traveller reached a clearing unlike any other. In the centre stood a massive ancient tree, its gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air around the tree was thick with an otherworldly energy, and the traveller could feel the presence of the spirits. He pleaded for their wisdom, but instead of answers, he was met with a chilling silence. Suddenly the ground beneath him began to tremble. and the tree's branches twisted and contorted, forming the shape of a face, an ancient sorrowful visage. The spirits had taken on a physical form, and their eyes, glowing with an otherworldly light, bore into the traveller's soul. They spoke in a language that transcended human understanding, their voices a haunting symphony of echoes and whispers. The traveller, overwhelmed by the sheer power of the spirits, fell to his knees. The spirits revealed to him the true nature of the forest, a place where time and reality intertwined, where the past and present coexisted in a delicate balance. They warned him that the forest was not to be trifled with, that its secrets were dangerous and meant to remain hidden. The traveller, filled with fear and awe, begged for mercy. The spirits, in their enigmatic wisdom, granted him one final vision, a glimpse into the future, a future where the balance was disturbed and the forest's wrath was unleashed upon the village. The traveller returned to the village, forever changed by his encounter. He shared his story, and the villagers, now more fearful than ever, vowed to respect the boundaries of the forest. The legend of the traveller became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the forest's power and the spirits that guarded it. As we continue our journey into the heart of the forest, remember these ancient legends. They are not just stories, but warnings of the unearthly forces that dwell within the woods. The whispers we hear are echoes of the past, reminders of the delicate balance that must be maintained. And now, with the legends in mind, we step further into the unknown, where the whispers grow stronger and the shadows deepen. As we delve further into the mysteries of the forest, we come upon tales of cursed relics, artifacts imbued with the dark energies of the ancient spirits. These relics, hidden away in the forest's deepest recesses, are said to possess unimaginable power, power that comes at a terrible cost. According to legend, these relics were once sacred objects used by the forest spirits to maintain the balance between the natural and supernatural realms. However, as time passed and human greed grew, the relics became tainted, their power twisted into something malevolent. One such relic is the Amulet of Shadows, an obsidian pendant said to grant its bearer the ability to control shadows and bend them to their will. But with this power comes a curse. Those who wear the amulet are said to be consumed by darkness, their souls slowly eroded until they become mere shadows themselves. The legend tells of a young woman, a healer from the village, who found the amulet while foraging for herbs. Desperate to save her ailing father, she donned the amulet, hoping to harness its power for good. At first it seemed to work. Her father recovered, and the villagers hailed her as a miracle worker. But soon strange things began to happen. Shadows in the village grew longer and darker, moving of their own accord. The healer herself became withdrawn, her eyes hollow and lifeless. Whispers of an unseen presence followed her wherever she went, and the villagers began to fear her. One night she vanished without a trace, leaving only the amulet behind. It is said that her soul was consumed by the darkness, and she now roams the forest as a shadow, forever bound to the cursed relic. Another relic is the Mirror of Echoes, a silver hand mirror that reflects not the present, but the past. Those who gaze into it are said to see visions of their ancestors, reliving memories long forgotten. But the mirror also shows the darkest moments of their lineage, revealing secrets that were meant to stay hidden. The legend of the mirror speaks of a wealthy merchant who sought to uncover his family's lost treasures. He found the mirror buried in an ancient grove, its surface tarnished and cracked. Eager to unlock its secrets, he stared into it, hoping to find clues to his ancestors' wealth. Instead, he was confronted with a series of horrifying visions, betrayals, murders, and dark rituals that had cursed his bloodline for generations. Driven mad by what he saw, the merchant destroyed the mirror, but it was too late. The spirits of his ancestors, awakened by the mirror's power, haunted him until his dying day. The broken shards of the mirror are said to still hold the echoes of those dark memories, waiting for the next unfortunate soul to piece them together. These cursed relics are more than just objects. They are remnants of a time when the boundary between the natural and supernatural was thin, and the forest spirits wielded great power. They serve as a reminder of the dangers that lie in seeking to harness forces beyond our understanding. As we continue our journey, let us be wary of the relics we may encounter, for their power comes with a price that few are willing to pay. The forest is a place of ancient secrets and unearthly forces, where every shadow and whisper holds a story waiting to be told. As we venture deeper, the line between legend and reality blurs, and the true nature of the forest begins to reveal itself. The cursed relics are just one piece of the puzzle, a glimpse into the dark tapestry of the forest's history. And with each step we take, we draw closer to the heart of its mysteries, where the past and present collide in a symphony of echoes and whispers. Have you ever felt like the woods were watching you? It's a sensation that creeps up on you, slowly at first, like a shadow stretching out as the sun sets. The feeling of being observed, of unseen eyes tracking your every move, can be both unsettling and intriguing. The forest, with its dense canopy and hidden secrets, has always been a place of mystery and wonder. But on certain nights, it transforms into something far more sinister. The trees seem to whisper among themselves, sharing secrets that humans are not meant to hear. The rustling leaves and the creaking branches create a symphony of sounds that can send chills down your spine. It's as if the forest is alive, breathing, and watching your every move. This is one of those nights. It was a night like any other, with an eerie silence that seemed to swallow every sound. The usual chorus of nocturnal creatures was absent, replaced by a heavy, oppressive stillness. The moonlight barely penetrated the thick foliage, casting long, twisted shadows that danced with the slightest breeze. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The silence was so profound that it felt like a tangible presence, pressing down on me from all sides. Every step I took seemed to echo in the stillness, amplifying the sense of isolation and vulnerability, wrapping around me. As I ventured deeper, the air grew colder and an unsettling feeling crept over me. The path ahead seemed to twist and turn in ways that defied logic, leading me further into the heart of the forest. The trees, tall and ancient, loomed overhead like silent sentinels, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The ground beneath my feet was soft and damp, muffling my footsteps and adding to the sense of isolation. The deeper I went, the more the forest seemed to close in around me, its dense foliage creating a labyrinth of shadows and hidden paths. It was as if the forest was alive, guiding me towards some unknown destination. Suddenly, a soft whisper, barely audible but distinct, sent shivers down my spine. Straining to decipher the words, all I could catch was my name, repeated over and over in a haunting tone. It was as if the forest itself was calling out to me, drawing me deeper into its embrace. The whisper seemed to come from all directions, echoing through the trees and blending with the rustling of leaves. My heart raced, and I felt a cold sweat break out on my forehead. The whisper was not just a sound, it was a presence, an entity that seemed to be aware of my every move. It was as if the forest had a voice, and it was speaking directly to me, repeated in a haunting tone. My heart raced as I scanned the shadows, trying to pinpoint the source of the whisper. With each step, the whispers grew louder, echoing through the trees as if the forest itself was alive with secrets. The shadows seemed to shift and move, creating the illusion of figures lurking just out of sight. I felt a growing sense of dread, as if I was being drawn into a trap from which there was no escape. The forest seemed to be playing tricks on my mind, distorting my perception of reality. Every shadow, every rustle of leaves seemed to conceal a hidden threat, waiting to pounce. My heart raced as I scanned the shadows. With each step the whispers grew louder, echoing through the trees, as if the forest itself was alive with secrets. I stumbled upon an old cabin, its wooden frame twisted and decayed, forgotten by time. The cabin stood in a small clearing, surrounded by a tangle of overgrown vegetation. The windows were dark and empty, like hollow eyes staring out into the night. The roof sagged under the weight of years, and the door hung askew on its hinges. It was a place that seemed to have been abandoned for decades, yet it exuded a sense of malevolence that was impossible to ignore. The cabin seemed to be a relic from a bygone era, a place where time had stood still. Its decaying structure was a stark contrast to the vibrant life of the forest, adding to the sense of unease. Its wooden frame twisted and decayed, forgotten by time. As I approached, the whispers turned to frantic cries, urging me to leave. The air around the cabin was thick with an almost tangible sense of despair, as if the very walls were soaked with the memories of those who had once lived there. The cries grew louder and more insistent, filling my mind with a cacophony of voices. Yet, despite the overwhelming urge to flee, I found myself drawn to the cabin, compelled by a curiosity that bordered on obsession. The cabin seemed to hold the answers to the mysteries of the forest, and I felt an irresistible pull to uncover its secrets. But curiosity held me captive. Crossing the threshold into darkness, the air thick with despair, I felt an inexplicable presence watching me. In that moment, I realized I was not alone. The interior of the cabin was shrouded in darkness, with only the faintest slivers of moonlight filtering through the broken windows. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and mildew, and the floorboards creaked ominously under my weight. Every shadow seemed to conceal a hidden threat, and I could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon me. The cabin was a place of darkness and despair, a place where the past seemed to linger, haunting the present. Crossing the threshold into darkness, the air thick with despair, I felt an inexplicable presence watching me. In that moment I realized I was not alone. The sense of being watched was almost palpable, and I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. I moved cautiously through the cabin, my senses on high alert. Every creak and groan of the old wood seemed amplified, echoing through the empty rooms like a ghostly symphony. The whispers had subsided, replaced by an oppressive silence that was even more unnerving. The silence was a living entity pressing down on me, amplifying my fear and anxiety, and the forest had revealed its true nature. With every heartbeat, the whispers intensified, and I understood that some stories are better left untold. The forest, with its ancient trees and hidden secrets, was a place of power and mystery. It was a place where the past and present seemed to merge, where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural were blurred. The whispers were not just voices in the wind, they were the echoes of the forest's dark history, a history that was best left undisturbed. The forest was a place of ancient power, a place where the natural and the supernatural coexisted, creating a realm of mystery and danger. Some stories are better left untold. Fleeing the cabin, the woods seemed to close in around me, the trees pressing in from all sides as if trying to trap me within their grasp. The path that had led me to the cabin now seemed to twist and turn in ways that defied logic, leading me deeper into the heart of the forest. The whispers had returned, louder and more insistent than ever, urging me to leave while I still could. My heart pounded in my chest, and I could feel the adrenaline coursing through my veins. The forest seemed to be alive, its ancient trees and hidden paths conspiring to keep me within its grasp, forever guarding their chilling secrets. The forest, with its ancient trees and hidden mysteries, was a place that would forever remain shrouded in darkness. As I fled through the woods, I could feel the weight of its secrets pressing down on me, a constant reminder of the things that lurked just beyond the edge of perception. The forest was alive with whispers, and I knew that I would never forget the haunting experience of that night. It was a night that had changed me forever, a night that had revealed the true nature of the forest and the chilling secrets it guarded. The forest was a place of ancient power and mystery, a place where the past and present coexisted, creating a realm of danger and intrigue. It was a place that would forever haunt my dreams, a place that had left an indelible mark on my soul. The forest grew darker as the night progressed, with shadows dancing eerily and whispers growing louder. The air was thick with an unearthly presence, sending chills down the spine of anyone who dared to venture deeper. Ghostly figures appeared and vanished, leaving behind an uncanny silence that was more terrifying than any sound. The forest was alive with horrifying scenes that seemed to come straight out of a nightmare. As I continued my journey, the path became increasingly treacherous. The trees seemed to close in around me, their twisted branches forming a labyrinth of shadows. Each step felt like a descent into madness, the whispers now a constant, maddening chorus in my ears. The ghostly figures flitted through the trees, their pale forms barely visible in the dim light. They seemed to be watching me, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. I could feel their gaze on me, a cold, unrelenting pressure that made it hard to breathe. The forest was a living nightmare, a place where reality and illusion blended seamlessly. The ground beneath my feet seemed to shift and change, making it difficult to find solid footing. Every sound, every movement seemed amplified, echoing through the trees and adding to the sense of disorientation. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, filling my mind with a cacophony of voices. It was as if the forest was trying to drive me mad, to break my will and trap me within its grasp forever. Suddenly I stumbled upon a clearing, the moonlight casting an eerie glow on the scene before me. In the centre of the clearing stood a massive, ancient tree, its gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air around the tree was thick with an almost tangible sense of malevolence, as if the very essence of the forest had gathered there. The whispers reached a fever pitch, a chorus of voices urging me to leave, to flee before it was too late, but I couldn't move. I was rooted to the spot, unable to tear my eyes away from the tree. It was as if the tree held the answers to all the mysteries of the forest, a dark and twisted heart at the centre of the nightmare. The whispers grew louder, more frantic, and I could feel the weight of their desperation. The forest was alive with secrets, and I was standing at the very heart of its darkness. In that moment I realized that some places are not meant to be explored, that some secrets are better left buried. The forest, with its ancient trees and hidden horrors, was a place of unimaginable power and danger. It was a place where the line between reality and nightmare was blurred, a place that could consume those who ventured too far. With a final, desperate effort, I tore myself away from the tree and fled back into the forest, the whispers still echoing in my mind. As I ran, the forest seemed to close in around me, the shadows pressing in from all sides. The ghostly figures flitted through the trees, their eyes glowing with an eerie light. The whispers followed me, a constant reminder of the darkness I had encountered. The forest was alive with secrets, and I knew that I would never forget the horrors I had witnessed. It was a place that would forever haunt my dreams, a place where nightmares came to life. Just as I thought I had escaped the heart of the nightmare, I stumbled upon a new, even more bizarre part of the forest. The air felt different here, thicker, almost syrupy, and the whispers had transformed into a strange melodic hum. The trees were unlike any I'd seen before, their trunks twisted into impossible shapes, creating an unsettling, otherworldly landscape. The ground beneath my feet was soft, almost spongy, and it seemed to pulse with a faint, eerie glow. As I ventured deeper into this enigmatic grove, I noticed strange, bioluminescent plants sprouting from the ground. Their soft, pulsing light cast eerie shadows that danced and shifted in the dim light. Suddenly, a faint sound caught my ear. It was a soft, almost musical chime, like the tinkling of glass. I followed the sound, my curiosity piqued despite the growing sense of unease. As I moved closer, the chime grew louder, more pronounced, and I realized it was coming from a cluster of strange, crystalline formations that jutted out from the ground like jagged teeth. The crystals seemed to hum with a life of their own, their surfaces shimmering with an otherworldly light. As I reached out to touch one, a sudden jolt of electricity shot through my hand, and I pulled back, startled. The crystals seemed to react to my presence, their hum growing louder, more insistent. I continued to explore the grove, my senses on high alert. The air was filled with strange, sweet scents that seemed to change with every breath I took. I came across a small, bubbling stream, its water a deep, unnatural shade of blue. The stream seemed to glow from within, casting an eerie light on the surrounding foliage. As I knelt to take a closer look, I noticed something moving beneath the surface of the water. It was a small, shadowy figure darting back and forth with impossible speed. I leaned in closer, trying to make out its shape, when suddenly it shot up from the water and disappeared into the trees. I stood up, my heart pounding in my chest. The grove was alive with strange, inexplicable phenomena, each more bizarre and unsettling than the last. The melodic hum of the crystals, the pulsing light of the plants, the shadowy figure in the stream, it all combined to create a sense of otherworldly dread that was almost overwhelming. As I pushed further into the grove, I came across a peculiar sight. In the centre of a small clearing stood a circle of stones, each one intricately carved with strange, arcane symbols. The air around the stones seemed to shimmer, and I could feel a powerful energy emanating from them. I approached the stones cautiously, my mind racing with questions. What was this place? What did the symbols mean? As I reached out to touch one of the stones, a sudden blinding light filled the clearing, and I was thrown back, landing hard on the soft, spongy ground. For a moment everything was silent. Then, slowly, the melodic hum returned, growing louder and more insistent. I knew I had to leave this place, to escape the grove before it consumed me completely. With a final, desperate effort, I pushed myself to my feet and fled back into the forest, the strange sights and sounds of the grove still echoing in my mind. The Enigmatic Grove was a place of unimaginable strangeness and danger, a place where the boundaries of reality seemed to blur and shift. It was a place that would forever haunt my thoughts, a reminder of the bizarre and spooky secrets that lay hidden within the forest.